What do you think? Should we just jump right in?
I suppose might as well. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Yeah. Sounds good. All right. Well, so as kind of talked about before, like this was just a complete blunder from start to finish. First off, I understand you're at home, take the kickoff and go down and score. Like I get it to an extent, especially when maybe your team did have
So
that.
I missed the beginning of the game. Like I missed the coin toss or whatever. So did we
We
decided
won
to?
and
Oh,
decided
we
to
won.
receive.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and
Damn.
see, and like I get it because like you want to prove, oh, there's no emotional hangover. We'll take the ball, we'll go score. Still don't love the decision because you just don't see it happen much anymore. But I understand it. But just it, man, just right away at the beginning of the game. And this, I mean, I got to put it on Kevin O'Connell. Like, we prefaced it in our preview to this game, had our key matchups, and two of them. I mean, I don't think we didn't, because of the offensive line and what they didn't do. We didn't get to see the true JJ Trevon Diggs matchup, but Trevon
Right.
Diggs was
Right.
all over JJ pretty much all day long. Um, and is so that was one of the matchups we prefaced, and then the other one to say we said to watch out for is our run defense, the defense in general against Pollard, and we saw what happened there. But just right away, as soon as you had Micah Parsons just demolish Christian Darrisaw, get the strip sack on Kirk Cousins, like as soon as that happened, you're just like, okay, Kevin O'Connell's got to realize, like, hey, it should have been in your game plan. You watch out for Micah Parsons, right? But we didn't do that. So now it's like, now he's already affecting the game. You got to put somebody back there to block, and it just didn't happen. Like, how I just don't understand how you can't, like, how do you
Yeah.
go into this game when Micah Parsons needs to be your number one priority because he's a game wrecker, and you just don't watch out for him right off the bat?
Yeah.
You know, and
It
and and Kirk, when you're rolling out, man, there's a reason you're moving
right.
to your right. It's because you're trying to stay away from him, and he, of course, we've seen it happen to him before. Doesn't feel the
Right.
pressure,
Right.
takes the hit. So, and you can't put a ton of blame on Cousins. He had no time back there, but when he did have time,
Obviously.
he held on to the ball, as we've seen him do a little bit too long. I get it, wanting to make a play, but you got to be smarter than that. You got to be able to sense pressure, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just a absolute shellacking, and just you got to put a bunch of it on Kevin O'Connell, and we've got to been saying that the leadership thing, he's got that down, but everything else, like that goes into being head coach and being the offensive head coach too, he's still got a little bit of work to do, and that's okay. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not, not at all sour on O'Connell, just at all, but it just wasn't. It was, and he said it himself. He said, "Put it on me. I got out coached today," and he did. So
Yeah.
I
So
don't know.
this is so obviously, we have this Bills game that's considered the best, like the best game of the year. Huge game for us. We were pumped about like maybe some immediate media attention. We probably still didn't get as much as we were hoping for. We just, some people were still sleeping on us, all that stuff. And it is pretty annoying to come out in this game and have it that big of an ass whooping, 40-3, huge. So it's like the opposite. So now you got every person that was like the Vikings aren't really that good. The Vikings aren't that good. They're getting lucky, and now they get all those people get to come out at full force. Obviously, I don't care what they say. We have finished a lot of games, and I do think we are a really good team. And at the end of the day, we are 8-2. This I did not want to see a loss go down like this, where we get just thumped like that everywhere on the field, specifically in the trenches. Our offensive line didn't hold up at all. Our defensive line barely held up at all. We just could not handle the running backs. We could not handle Tony Pollard. And I mean, I think that's obviously that needs to get better. We've seen better protection. We've seen better coverage. We've obviously been pretty good in the run game for a majority of this season. So I mean, I do think we can move forward past this, but it is annoying that as soon as we're getting all that hype, as soon as we're reaching number one on some people's power rankings or top three. It'll be interesting. Is their power rankings out yet? Probably not because there's some
No, it'll be
Monday night's
tomorrow.
game. Yeah. It'll
We're gonna
be
take
interesting to see.
we'll take a tumble. We'll take a tumble, and
Yeah, we're going to take a
deservedly so.
yeah,
Deservedly
and there's
so.
going to be a lot of people who say a lot of things. That's what stinks. It just sucks that it had to be that bad. Like 40-3, we couldn't do anything. And like you said, like starting the game off on a strip sack. Obviously, like when that happened, it was you never want to start like that, obviously. And then we held them to 3 points though. But I still had in my head, of course, like, hey, we can still win this. Even off that, that's like a momentum killer, whatever. And then we just never did. We came down the field that one time, and this is something about Kevin. This is judgment on Kevin O'Connell's coaching, I guess. Was when we did come down and score those 3 points. I think we were third or first and three, and first and three at like the 13 or something like that. No, first and three at like the 8 or something like that. And we needed 3 yards to get a first down, and we would have only had like 5 yards to score a touchdown. And we we're third and three, and we ran. No, yeah, no, we were first and 10. We ran. I think we were second and three. Then we threw the ball to TJ Hawkinson, who didn't catch it. And then we threw the ball again. I forgot what the play was, but we threw the ball again. I just don't understand why we didn't run the ball there, I guess is where I'm trying to get to. I thought,
Speaking of
especially
Hawkinson, he had a pretty rough day yesterday.
yeah, well, especially that missed catch there. And then the second one, which, that was kind of a tougher one. Oh, that's what it was. It was the next play was the throw to him, the second throw to him. But I just don't get why you're third and three. I think you should run the ball there, especially against a Cowboys defense who has not been that great against the run. We should have ran the ball at least, and you're only 3 yards away. So it could have definitely been four down territory at their 8-yard line, something like that. So I think we should have ran the ball there, and I think we could have ran the ball there twice in that scenario. Yeah. And I think we would have ended up with a touchdown. And who knows what would have happened if we would have scored a touchdown there.
Right. Yeah, it does.
Momentum changes and all that stuff. But
I want to focus a little bit more on the offense here because, speaking of that offensive line, obviously Darisaw, was he rushed back with a concussion? Might have been. Obviously, the second concussion doesn't help. He's going to be out Thursday, which is really unfortunate. But just Brian O'Neill got jobbed. That the interior got jobbed pretty bad. Kirk Cousins, 63% of his dropbacks he was pressured on. And of course, as we all know, the number 7 sacks. As we talked about, 2 by Micah Parsons, which was huge. 2 by Armstrong, 1 by Curse, another one by Dante Fowler Jr., and 1 by DeMarcus Lawrence as well. Just absolutely just dominated. It was. And this is what we had talked about all week long, is that this defense can get after the quarterback. This defense is fantastic, and you got to watch out for their playmakers. And we just didn't do it at all throughout any part of that football game. And that's what's most frustrating to me. Is just there. I don't know. It was just one of those games that you hate to see because it happens to us too much. We get the big emotional win. You think the team would be pumped up and ready to play, and Kevin O'Connell just didn't have him ready. And, at least, and I guess we can take solace in the fact that Kirk didn't pull a Zach Wilson and he owned up to it, because the defense,
right.
Obviously 40 points, you can't sit there and say that the defense held them because they really didn't.
No.
But they tried as hard as they could early on, and we just never was able to sustain drives.
Yeah, but
not only did we get dominated on the scoreboard 40-3, we got dominated also and fooled on the scoreboard in a different way. If you know, we won't get an explanation of that, but I'm sure a lot of you probably know what that's all about there. But it was just 40-3, man. Just an absolute ass kicking. Outcoached, outplayed offensively. Kirk 12-23, 105, the 7 sacks we talked about. Cook 11 carries, 72 yards. Delvin Cook is the one guy on this team that you could tell didn't give up at all throughout this game. He was still running hard.
He was our one bright spot. Obviously, he was, I don't know, he had a decent amount of carries, not carries, but yards early on. Then obviously we just had to get away from the run game. But otherwise he was just having a really good game, and he was fast out there. He looked really good out there. So that's what I'm saying. I think if there was an offensive coaching mistake there, I think it was going away from the run game way too early on, or just not enough early on, especially how Delvin Cook was running. Before we keep moving on, I want to thank everybody who's watching to subscribe to our channel, hit the bell, get notifications for more of our videos. I also wanted to bring this up. So this is a giveaway because through Instagram, we are giving away this Justin Jefferson rookie card right here. Going through our Instagram, and I'm at the end of the video, I'll be giving it away to these people. So we have 7 people who signed up. At the end of this show, we will be giving this away, and this is something that we'll probably be doing almost weekly. Probably not this week since it's such a short week against the Patriots, but moving forward, probably every single week. So, and we're going to be running this through our Instagram as far as now. So go follow us on Instagram at GG_sports_podcast. And yeah, you could have a chance to win. I mean, who knows what else we got? We got a lot of Justin Jefferson rookie cards, so we might continue doing that. But yeah, from there, yeah, I don't know. I think so. I mean, it's obvious. It was in the trenches on offense. It was our offensive line. Christian Darrisaw has been a beast all year long. He's the one that allowed that strip sack, and then he also allowed a sack not far after that.
Yeah, that was a play he got hurt on too.
Yeah, which definitely sucks because the guys that came in did not step up in his place. Who was it?
Blake Brandel.
Yeah, Blake Brandel. He definitely didn't step up in his plays. But that's where it happened. I mean, the pass rush was there. Kirk Cousins got sacked 7 times. What was the pressures on Kirk Cousins? Did you already say that? Or he had like
pressured 63% of the dropbacks.
Yeah, 63%. So what are you going to do? This game was not on Kirk, like you said. Obviously, Kirk could have done some things. The strip sack, you wish he had a little bit more awareness. But what do you do when you're sacked that many times? You're talking about a Vikings team since Kirk Cousins been here who has had an awful offensive line. And this game, he was sacked the most times he has in his career. Yeah. And so that's saying something to me. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, obviously, we've seen our offensive line hold pretty strong here. So, I mean, moving forward, I do think that we can fix that and do better. And I do think this is, this isn't something we're going to – this wasn't our team. This wasn't our team. And I do think moving forward, we're going to – I think starting this Thursday, we're going to come in and beat up on the Patriots. I think it's going to be our first game of the season where we beat them by a decent amount of points and we don't have any anxiety.
I don't know, man. See,
there's no anxiety in this game.
Right. But I don't know. My concern with what you just said is, yes, and that's the bright side. The coaches and the players are all talking about it yesterday and today that they get a quick turnaround. You can't, like this one, you just got to put it away and move on.
You have to.
And you move on to Thursday night because it's coming up quick. But on the other side of it, you have, speaking of good defenses, you have Bill Belichick coming in. You have the GOAT of head coaches in the NFL who his thing is exploiting weaknesses on the other team. He's the best at exploiting weaknesses, and we showed a ton of them yesterday. So, again, Kevin O'Connell, you need to come into this game and expect Bill Belichick to give you pressure. Expect Bill Belichick to get into Justin Jefferson's face with their cornerbacks. And you got to have a plan, because if you don't have a plan, your offense is going to get dominated just like it did against Dallas. I mean, I don't think the Patriots don't have as solid of a defense as Dallas, but Patriots are still a damn good defense, especially under Bill Belichick. Looking at the rest of these offensive numbers, receiving wise, Hawkinson was the leading receiver, 5 catches, 34 yards. JJ held the 3 for 33. Thielen 2 for 25. I thought Thielen's gonna have a breakout game. So he had those 2 nice catches on the first drive, and then nothing else the rest of the game. KJ 2 for 17, and then just kind of it's whatever the rest of the way down the list there. But yeah, man, it was just offensively, it was one of the more disappointing. And we've had some disappointing offense so far this season, namely in like the second and third quarters. But this is just one of those games where nothing was working. It felt a lot like Philadelphia, just worse. Where we couldn't
worse
get
in Philadelphia.
Well, it was worse in the fact the sacks and that defense that we'll get into in a little bit here just couldn't do anything later on in the game.
And we're allowing just huge plays,
exactly.
Massive plays.
I mean,
like you just come out of the third, you come out of the half, and you allow that Pollard touchdown right away. It was like, all right, like I was hopeful, like, all right, we're gonna come back. We've seen some crazier shit this year. Boom, Pollard, huge touchdown.
And that's another thing that Thielen said too. He's like, I think we got a little bit complacent with the fact that we just roll the ball out there, and eventually we'll find a way to come back and get it done. And we knew. And we all thought it was going to be last week against the Bills. We knew eventually a team was going to do this to this team. Not every team is going to let us hang around like we have in the past few weeks.
Yeah.
And I think, last week we saw it start with that, down 17. at the end of the third quarter. We kind of saw that start there. And then this game, it just took to the next level. We all thought it was going to happen against the Bills, but the Cowboys were the ones to expose us there. And Thielen's right. You can't just expect to be in every game, and you got to start faster. You gotta do something on offense early and often.
Being a finisher isn't enough. It's not
exactly,
enough.
Exactly.
You have to be you need to be a team that can win, just straight out win games. I don't see how, like, it would be pretty lucky if you win the Super Bowl just because you win like the end of games.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like it's a good thing to learn how to win like we have, but eventually it's not 100% sustainable throughout the season. And as we saw, a team was going to come out and punch you in the mouth, and that's exactly what Dallas did. Dallas did to us last night, and it was yesterday. It was one of the things that we were all worried about. You know, in the back of our minds, we're sitting here 8-2 is still a good record. We're still winning the NFC
fantastic,
North.
And we're going to the playoffs, and we're going to meet the Cowboys, and we're going to beat them and Philly.
No, but this is still a really good football team, a ton of talent. But you knew this was going to happen. We were all in the back of your mind, in the back of all of our minds. We all knew this could happen to this team, and Dallas were the ones to do it. And like I said, we looked at all those key matchups, and we nailed every single one of them. That we just didn't do enough to stop them. So offensively, yeah, there's a lot to look at. You got a tough team coming in here on prime time, and the Vikings have never really been a good primetime team.
Kirk, sorry.
Yeah, right, but I don't know. Any other thoughts on the offense at all before we move on?
No, we need to get our O-line. It's actually kind of funny because our PFF, based on PFF, like Ezra Cleveland had the highest grade of 85.2, Brian O'Neill second, 71.9, Garrett Bradbury 64, Christian Darrisaw 59.7. Obviously Ed Ingram has not been working out so far. I mean, he is a rookie, 51.2. And then Blake Brand, when he came in, he had a 31.3. I would say this. I feel like our PFF grades being kind of nice in this scenario, because I just felt like it could have just been from a couple players, but man, it seemed like our whole offensive line was just constantly pressured.
Right. So yeah, obviously our offensive line by their defensive line just got demolished. The receivers were jammed up, couldn't get open. Kirk had no time, and again, when he did have time, held on to the football. That was just the story of the day. The offense couldn't sustain anything, couldn't get anything going, and that put the defense in a bad spot. So let's move on to the defense here. So our defensive front, okay, we're missing Delvin Tomlinson needs to get back, and he needs to get back soon.
Yes.
The last few games, Harrison Phillips and Blacklock, and who else we had in there? Tonga and Bowler. They held up pretty solidly. But Delvin Tomlinson is just a next level player, and we're against two really, really good running backs, like we saw here.
Zeke and Pollard.
Yeah, he needs to get back as soon as possible. Obviously, Zadarius Smith didn't have. I know he's been kind of in and out with that knee injury, and that's kind of what was bothering him yesterday, from the sounds of it. So he didn't have as big of an impact on the game as we were hoping. Then I want to talk about Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah a little bit here. Let's move the blame up the line even farther. When Cam Dantzler went out with that ankle injury, the fact that we didn't try to find somebody out there with a little bit more, I mean, I get it. You're not going to, good corners are hard to come by, but there has to be some veteran presence out there you could have brought in who has some experience under his belt. That's just kind of a sleeper pick, because that was just, I mean, Andrew Booth got a lot of hate yesterday. A lot of people are saying like, "Oh, we picked this guy in the second round. Bust. He's terrible. Yada yada." We got to remember the guy's been hurt, and he's been basically just forced into action here with minimal practice time. So,
right,
did he play well? Not at all. But I'm not going to sit here and call Andrew Booth a bust, because we all saw the talent he had in college. With a little bit more, a little more seasoning, a little more practice, staying healthy. I think the sky's the limit still for this kid. So I didn't like seeing that. I mean, don't talk so much smack to a guy who's new. Like he's still young, he's still growing.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
That's kind of one of the things I wanted to say there. But otherwise, defensively, there wasn't really much else to talk about player wise, stat wise. Kind of it is what it is. One thing I did want to bring up though is I have been overly critical, I think fairly, of Ed Donatel. I've kind of quieted down the last couple of weeks because the defense has been making some plays. But after a game like this, and seeing again, and Tony Romo and Jim Nantz called it out as well, how much space we were giving their receiver. He's like, yeah, Patrick Peterson's going to start off tight, then he's going to back up. I think Ed Donatelli's last couple of weeks, because we've been actually forcing some turnovers, which is huge, but I think Ed Donatello's defense the last couple of weeks has been saved by veteran star players who made plays despite the fact this defense was absolute garbage. Because when you see when we're not allowed to just play, and obviously I don't think the guys on the back end were able to do that, the Harrison Smiths, because they wanted to have him help out with Booth out a little bit. But I think we're really seeing that Ed Donatello is just not a good defensive coordinator. This defense is too soft, and he's been bailed out by his playmakers so far this season, and it's frustrating. I'm still for the next away game leaving him there. I believe I tweeted F Ed Donatello yesterday, and nothing against the man because I feel like he's a good dude, but you have a job to do, man, and you're not getting it done right now. And you haven't been getting it done all season. You've just had really good players who have helped you get it done. And I don't know.
Yeah. And to your point,
it's pathetic. This defense, and not I think the scheme is very, very pathetic.
Yeah.
And
so to your point on this, I have a couple things to say, but to your point, Dak Prescott completed 22 of 25 passes, which is insane. And this defense has been allowing that regardless of how we've been playing. We've been allowing very high completion percentages all year long. So that's a good point to your thing. I do want to say, though, I mean, the reality is we're 8-2. And, this is one game. It was a terrible game. And our defense definitely played terrible. Our offensive line was terrible. Our offense, everything was really bad. But the reality is we still do have some studs, and we still do have some veteran players that can make huge plays for us moving forward here. And even if Ed Donatello's, even if he doesn't have the best defense, we still do have those playmakers that can help win us games week in and week out. So this 8-2, even though it's such a bad game, it is obviously we are a playoff team. We're going to make playoffs, and we do have to fix up that stuff. We can't just rely on finishing games. We have to come in and win games in the middle. I don't know. We have to do that. But I do think overall, I think people are going to overreact
for sure,
to this.
For sure. Yep.
At 8, I mean, it was a terrible game, but 8-2, that is huge for us. And, I think we can bounce back, and I think our defense can bounce back. And even if Ed Donatello's defense isn't the best, even moving forward, I do think we have the players there. And it'll be nice if we do have Delvin Tomlinson. And once we do have Cam Dantzler back, which I don't know how long that's going to be, but then we should have Evans back next week. So, we were injured there. Christian Darrisaw, he did allow 2 sacks earlier on, but he did have the concussion last week and another this week. So we did have some injuries going into this game. And I just don't think we can – I think we have to just, kind of wipe this one off and move forward here. And
and we are going to see, because obviously this team's faced a lot of adversity this year. And after week 2, we said it the first time, we'll see what type of a coach Kevin O'Connell is. Can he coach a team that's going to be down on themselves, and what's he going to do? And all he did was lead this team to rattle off 7 straight wins, right?
Yes.
So this time though, you're really going to see, because this loss, the loss of the Eagles, you're on the road, tough environment. It was still embarrassing, but it wasn't a 40-3 beating, which is the worst loss by a 8-1 team in NFL history. But this game we're really going to, because you have a short week of preparation against Bill Belichick-led Patriots, and we're going to see what type of a leader and head coach Kevin O'Connell is. And I'm a big Kevin O'Connell guy. I think he has the right stuff. I thought he was going to have the team better prepared this week. He did not admitted that himself. But we're going to see what type of a head coach this guy really is to get, and what type of leaders we have on this team. I know I was watching Adam Thielen said that today as well. Because they got to focus up, because it's a short week and you got to get back out there on prime time in front of everybody on Thanksgiving. And how are you going to do? If you come out and put out another game like this, I'm going to start having questions about the legitimacy.
Well, especially against the offense like the Patriots.
You can't compound this type of play 2 games in a
No,
row.
no.
So we'll see what type of head coach Kevin O'Connell is.
Yeah.
As I said, from the leadership perspective, I think he has everything right. I think he's going to have this team ready to play. But situational stuff, I hope he picks it up. And obviously, and that's just pass rushers, doing what you have to do to help your offensive line out. This week, you're going to have to do it again because Bill Belichick, there's 2 people he's going to go after. He's going to go after
Ed Ingram.
Blake Brandel. And on the other side of the ball, he's going to be going after Andrew Booth or Evans or whoever.
Gotcha.
So this is going to be a huge game, And I'm ready to put this Dallas game behind us.
Yeah, let's put it behind us because my predictions for, even though we're going to have a video later, are actually pretty early. I don't know. It'll probably come out Wednesday, right? For Thursday's game. But I think we're going to come in to this Patriots game, and I think we're going to see Kevin O'Connell's leadership by us coming in and whooping on the Patriots, and it being, like I already said before, it being the first game where we come in, other than the Packers game, where we come in and just win outright. And if he does show that, I think it'll be a lot easier to forget about this Cowboys game, especially if we come out and win that way and it doesn't come into the last second or whatever,
Yeah, but either way, just putting the final touches on this Cowboys game. Embarrassing isn't a strong enough word. Adam Thielen said it best. We got our butts kicked, and they did. They got outright outplayed, outcoached, embarrassed. Just
we got to hear it from Cowboys fans.
Start to finish, both sides of the ball. Dallas absolutely dominated. Going through some of their stats, Tony Pollard with the 6 catches for 109 yards, 2 touchdowns. Both of his touchdowns were with Hicks in coverage, who Hicks had a not good day yesterday. Other than that, pretty pedestrian. CeeDee Lamb, 5 for 45. Noah Brown, 2 for 42. Michael Gallup, 3 for 41. Davis and Schultz each had 22 yards. But just then, of course, running game, Zeke with 2 touchdowns. That goal line one that he had, it was just, I don't know. I felt like, you don't want to say quit, but I do feel like at the end of the game, we did have a few players quit. I mean, obviously, we already kind of talked about some of those that we didn't think quit. Delvin Cook being the first one. So, because he got into it with George Edwards on the sideline.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was, hey, Rap, how's it going? Yeah, let's bounce back. We have to after a game like that. It's time to do something, because that was
we will too, bouncing back against the Patriots, and we're going to beat them. We're going to beat them outright. It's going to be our best overall game, I think, and that will show a lot of KOC and this team, because that's the one thing about KOC. Like, he's really good at self accountability, but I'm just hoping the rest of our team is taking it in the same way. Because, that's a difference between like a guy like KOC and a guy like Zimmer. Zimmer is like going to be hard on you, and that tough love thing, I guess you can call it. And sometimes I'm hoping that KOC can bring that out a little bit, because, at the end of the day, like, obviously, if sometimes it's not just the coach's fault. And I think the coach does need to get on their players a little bit when you lose a game this way. Especially like you said, if you thought they were starting to quit a little bit, I don't think that's on KOC.
Right. But at the end of the day, though, it's a big opportunity. Turnaround, short week, Thursday Night Football. This is kind of tell all time. What are you going to do? Are you going to go out? Are you going to just, head down, tail between your legs, go out and just kind of do whatever? Or are you going to step up and go win another football game and make it tough on the Patriots? And a home game, prime time, there's no better way. And I've watched a bunch of interviews and stuff, and every player said multiple times that bad taste in your mouth, let's get rid of it. And this is the best way to do it. Hopefully they can hopefully they can flush out some of that bad taste with a nice turkey leg after getting a home win on Sunday Night Football on a Thursday. And
Kirk Cousins going to have the best game of his career on prime time in front of everybody.
But and as we prefaced, 8-2 squad, first place in the division. The sky isn't falling yet, but there's a few cracks showing potentially, and we'll see if we'll see if they can seal those cracks and keep the sky where it's supposed to be, and that's
Yeah.
above our heads.
I like it. I like it.
Sunny days, brighter days ahead. And then, the
Yep.
nice thing is you come out, you get a win, you get a nice mini bye, 10-day break.
Yep.
And
9-2.
yep.
Shoot.
And you come back, and then it's going to be 10-2 because I'm going to the Jets game, and I've never seen a Vikings loss live. So we're going to be going 10-2. And then
the Jets are off right now.
Yeah, the Jets are off right now. And that's why I say, at least with Kirk, he's, takes ownership and he knows what he has to do. Unlike Zach Wilson is just, because there's a thing where, people say like you don't want, I know Zimmer was big on it, like you don't want your players to take all the blame on themselves because it is a team game. But those certain leadership positions, and that's the one thing we do have where Kevin O'Connell and Kirk Cousins all took, their share of the blame. And then Adam Thielen just said, as a team, we got to be better all around. So, this team knows. And that's one of the things I think is going to be really good is I think Kevin O'Connell's going to get him ready. And they know it. Like, it's not like he needs to tell them you guys didn't play well. They know. And, with I think they all kind of admitted maybe having a little bit of emotional hangover after that last game because it was. But it's just, this team was not ready to play yesterday. And, if you come back again next week not ready to play, we'll see. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Kevin O'Connell's got the right stuff. I really do. And I think he's going to do what he can to turn this around. So frustrating. I was very upset yesterday. Kind of a somber day today as well. But
what do you do? We're going to lose. Obviously, we just didn't want to lose like that. It was to finish the season with one loss was going to be pretty slim. We didn't want to get beat like that. We didn't want all the naysayers to be able to come out and be like, I told you so. That's what happened, but we'll show them again. And once we make playoffs, we'll beat Dallas again and hopefully the Eagles. And we'll just stomp every single person that beat us and see what they can say then. From there, though, let's do this giveaway. So like I said, we're giving away this. This is through Instagram. So if you want to join any future giveaways, follow us on Instagram. Like I said, GG_sports_podcast. Let's do this here. Here, let me put the whole thing up. So this is everybody that entered, and let's see who the winner is. It is Ben Mimic. Oh, it is Ben Mimic. Congratulations. I'll hit you up on Instagram, and we'll get this sent to you right away.
Sweet. Congratulations, man. Enjoy it. But let's wrap this up here quick. Another thing I've just kind of been saying it all day long, kind of repeating myself here, but put it behind you. Not good. Not a good game. Pathetic isn't a strong enough word to describe what we saw out there yesterday against Dallas. And that's nothing against Dallas. We all know they got a really good football team over there. They got a lot of weapons, and they showed it. Micah Parsons was the one guy I was worried about, and for good reason. We showed it. But again, short week, quick turnaround. I think this team has the right stuff. We've seen it. They've been resilient all year long in these games. But now you got to go show it on a different level. It's not just resilience of, we're down in this game, we got to come back. It's how do you come back after you were beat down for 3 hours, 4 days before your next game? Like what do you do? And that's what we're going to see what this team is actually made of, what the leaders on this team are made of, what this team is made of in general. And this is going to be this is the most important game of the season. A lot of these other, obviously you're going to say about every next game, but this is the most important game of the season. Because if they come out, I'm just going to say the last time, if they come out and put on another stink fest, I'm not going to have nearly as much confidence as I've had these last few weeks in this team. So,
I don't know. I'm feeling pretty positive. I think, we obviously this is a terrible game, but we are 8-2. And at the end of the day, there's teams that there's the Giants that would beat the Patriots. There's teams that are inconsistent all season long just to step up in playoffs. As long as you have a playoff spot, I don't know. I'm happy, I guess. Sure. So I'm not going to be too negative. I think, it was a terrible loss, but we're 8-2, positive. Even if we lost to the Patriots, then we're 8-3. Obviously, you don't want to keep that going, but hopefully, I think we're going to come and beat them. I think we match up well against the Patriots team, at least based on talent. Maybe they got Bill Belichick. That's the thing, but I do think we're going to beat them. So yeah,
big test. Now, obviously, we'll talk about this game a little bit more in a couple days here, but put Dallas behind us, move on.
Yep.
we'll be fine. We'll be
Yep.
fine. This
Yep.
team's gonna be okay. So
Let's do
yeah.
it.
I think that's pretty good. Bond, if you're on here for about a half hour. So thanks everybody for joining. Those of you that did, and we'll see you in our next video, kind of talking about these upcoming games.
Skol Vikes.